Hello and welcome to Clash of the Masterminds. I'm your host, SeoULStEaL, and today we're casting this TVP on Moondance. At the top left, we have ourselves the red Terran, dongotti. And the bottom right, we have ourselves the blue Protoss. It is Eurobadger. Dongotti makes me think of the Mafia for some reason. But we have ourselves the Mafia Terran moving on into Moondance, wants to take on Eurobadger. And yeah, this time Eurobadger is playing Protoss. So I had a feeling that the last replay I casted of Eurobadger, he was playing Protoss. And sure enough, he's actually a random player. At least that's what I'm getting at from these replays. So Eurobadger doing a gateway scout against Terran. Terran is going to go ahead and get himself nicely walled in. He's going to go racks, then gas. And this is looking fairly standard at the moment. Eurobadger is not going to go ahead and block one of these Reaper entrances. Probably because there's too many entrances to cover to begin with. And then on top of that, I mean, it's a lot of work blocking all these entrances off. You're better off just making yourself maybe a wall. I would say you're better off making a wall around your mineral line at this point to try to block Reapers from getting around your mineral line freely. Looks like Eurobadger is going to go ahead and steal the gas from a Terran. Depending on Terran's build, it may or may not affect them, but it's, if anything, is going to give you some okay scouting information. And Eurobadger is also going to deny the expansion from Terran. But when it comes to Terran, they don't really care about that stuff. So you can sit on one gas for a little while as Terran, and you can also lift your command center. So it's more of an inconvenience than anything. It's not like you're facing Zerg or another Protoss where that would actually disrupt a lot of operations. Terran can just build their CC in the main. So Terran does have that little bit of security. And Eurobadger is actually going to go ahead and get himself a second guess. I'm going to go ahead and say that this is a proxy void ray strat with a little bit more of a twist. He's being more of an inconvenience for Terran because Terran really wanted to build. Actually, no, because Eurobadger's getting that Nexus. He's not going for Void Ray, at least not initially. He may do it down the road, but we are getting Warp Gate, so maybe not at all. I was thinking Proxy Void Ray because the second and third pylon were outside of the map. Like there's this this probe still over here hanging out, and we have this pylon, so he had the supply ready for Void Rays if he were to do it, but he's not. We're not doing that, so that's out the window. But if anything, Eurobadger, the only information he's getting is that there's a Marine. There's no Reaper. Stalker first for Eurobadger. So, to me, tells me he really wants to be aggressive early on. And that's definitely okay. You definitely... the Stalkers are a very good choice. It's the usual choice from Protoss as the first unit. If you're not going to... Yeah. Zealot has kind of lost its usefulness in this matchup early on. Like, I'm talking about early. You don't make a Zealot anymore or anything like that to do a rush. At least not as often. There's specific scenarios where you do see a Zealot coming on in from Protoss to go across against Terran. But it's very situational. But, okay, looks like we might have we're gonna have ourselves a Blink build from Eurobadger. And the only reason why I'm saying Blink is because, you know, he's constantly making Stalkers from the gateway, which is good. I do like that. Constant Stalker production to make sure that he doesn't have to... Oh, wait, no. Dark Shrine. Okay, that's good. Nice. I don't know if Terran's going to be prepared for this, especially if Terran keeps making... keeps using his energy. He won't have the energy for the detection unless he makes an engineering bay and makes missile turrets like right now. He is probably not going to be ready for the DTs anytime soon. Terran's going to go ahead and get himself some medevacs and Marines. We do have these Stalkers in position in case of some sort of drop play. But the thing is, Eurobadger has vision along the left side of the map, but none on the right. So he has no idea if anything's coming from the right side, but he's hella prepared on the left side of the map. So, oh wait. Actually, this is kind of best and worst case scenario, because the medevac with Widow Mines is going to fly along the left side of the map. Unfortunately, though, for Eurobadger, Terran is going to scout everything. All the pylons are accounted for now for dongotti. The Mafia train has left the it's not a train. What am I thinking? The Mafia doesn't use trains, at least not Anyway. We have ourselves a nice little hit squad moving on out. And the Dark Shrine is completed. Is Terran's going to react to it, though? And the answer is no. Oh, yeah, he is. He's got missile turrets going down. He's rushing to get he's scrambling to get those missile turrets out. This medevac drop, though, is spotted as well by Eurobadger. It wasn't just Eurobadger getting spotted by Terran, but Terran getting spotted by Protoss. And now we have Widow Mines and missile turrets in position at the front, and we have a missile turret in the back of the base. So these DTs, they're not going to do a whole lot unless he gets blink or drops them in. I'm not sure. Okay, they're Dark Shrine DTs are down here with the proxy robo. Eurobadger is just proxying all of his production, it seems. And Terran scans the Dark Shrine. He wants to look at it twice as hard. He really wants to get a good look at it. He sees everything. He sees that there's an upgrade, though. If he paid attention to it, he saw that there's an upgrade going. And it is blink. It is indeed blink. But not blink for the DTs. It's blink for the stalkers. And now we have ourselves more production going down. Well, not more production. It's just more pylons going down for Eurobadger. Both players kind of at a stalemate because neither player doing anything. Oh, these DTs are going to come on in. And they're going to get killed by the Widow Mine. At least the first DT is. Second DT is going to come on in, and it gets picked off by the Marines. And Terran is feeling good about themselves. They're sitting pretty. They're safe. They just killed two DTs effortlessly. And we have a third command center coming in from Terran. Eurobadger, he's making more DTs, and now he's getting charged. And neither player is really doing anything at this point. We do have more stalkers on the way from Eurobadger, and Eurobadger looks like he wants to take himself a third finally. He's going to be behind the Terran. Two more DTs coming across. Is he aware of what killed his first two DTs? Because if he isn't, he's going to make the same mistake twice. It's going to be like Groundhog Day, you know, going back in and reliving the same nightmare over and over again. And Terran's feeling kind of content with sitting back while Eurobadger, he really wants to get in there. He really wants to do damage with these DTs. He doesn't want to feel like he's behind because he went for Dark Templar path. This Warp Prism, though, taking the scenic route to get into the main of Terran. In fact, it's kind of just hanging out, watching, seeing nothing. And I'm not sure what Eurobadger is doing. We have 6 more gateways on the way for Eurobadger and another pylon. More missile turrets going down for Terran. Oh, the Warp Prism does come on in. There's nothing inside the Warp Prism, but it does find a sweet spot where they can safely warp in some more DTs. Surely. Yep, DTs. And the DTs are going to come on in. They're going to target that missile turret to get rid of the detection. And now these DTs can freely kill the Marines up to a certain point. Oh, the scan does go down, and now there's a ton of Marines. These DTs are not going to get a whole lot done because there's too much detection, and they do get cleaned up. And Eurobadger is actually in a bit of trouble. He's committing to more DTs. That is a lot of DTs that have died. And Eurobadger is down 700 resources against Terran. And now he's going to fly the Warp Prism. Oh, okay. He's about to fly into the Widow Mine, and he does lose 3 more DTs. And like instantly to the Widow Mine. There's the 4th DT right there, though, and DT's gonna get some kills. Terran, though, finally gonna react, but this DT is in the radius, the detection zone, and this missile turret is gonna finish. And a scan goes down on top of the already detected Dark Templar, and yeah, Eurobadger, unfortunately, he's in trouble. He's spent a lot of money on this Dark Templar cheese, and it didn't work out for him. Terran was over-prepared this time around. Way prepared. And Terran's ahead by a few workers. Not really. But by income with mules, definitely. But having that third base up way longer than Eurobadger's, it's definitely going to pay off for Terran the longer that this game goes on. Depending on if Terran keeps making units and doesn't get supply blocked, because he's about to get supply blocked again, and we don't have any more depots going down. Terran is adding more production structures to his arsenal, and we have ourselves some charge lot Dark Templar now for Eurobadger. Eurobadger doesn't really have anything at home except for all these stalkers. He has a lot of stalkers. He could group up with his main army, but he has no AoE. If without AoE against Terran and chokes, Terran is going to be the victor in that scenario. Protoss needs overwhelming numbers, just like Zerg, in order to beat Terran in a choke with their army. 2-2 coming in from Terran. Terran's doing a pretty good job at staying ahead of their upgrades. Eurobadger, though, on the other hand, he only has +1. He's getting +1 armor soon, but he's still behind. And now we have double Robo going down for Eurobadger at his main. Not across the map this time around. And we have Colossus on the way with Thermal Lance. So, Eurobadger, I'm thinking he wants to do some Colossus drop play. That's what I'm kind of getting at from this waypoint here in this Warp Prism. But Terran, he looks like he's done waiting. He's done sitting back and watching, taking the beating, which he hasn't really been beaten all that much at all. He's kind of just been sitting back and defending effortlessly against Eurobadger. There we go, Charge Lot DT. And these charge lots are actually going to get melted unless Terran kills himself with his own Widowmines. The Widowmine's doing a really good job at killing Terran, but the Zealots do get cleaned up. And actually, you know, that wasn't too bad. Like, yes, Eurobadger has been losing way more resources, but Terran kind of killed themselves with their own Widowmine. And Terran's also kind of shooting themselves in the foot by not keeping constant SCV production. They're still behind worker-wise, but economically, Terran... Well, they should be ahead, but they're not because of mules. Eurobadger doing a pretty good job at staying ahead economically. And now Terran's going to go ahead and depower this pylon. The Colossus is finally going to be spotted. And Terran's just going to back away. It's one Colossus and a few charge slots. And Eurobadger actually was taking this base, but he decided that the Terran army, the Terran threat is too dang close. And for some reason isn't producing more Colossus. He has double Robo, but he could be double producing. We do have Liberators, which the more Liberators Terran gets, the harder it's going to be for Eurobadger to push the Terran. Because Liberators are excellent at zoning. They're probably the perfect siege unit for Terran, because they can zone and they don't do friendly fire damage. They just don't do anything to structures, which is the only downside to them. Otherwise, they're like the perfect siege unit for Terran. And Terran's going to go ahead and clean up this proxy Robo. And yeah, Terran is doing a good job at keeping his Marine count, his unit count high. But he's up against Colossus now. He does have a decent amount of Marauders. But there's only one Colossus and a bunch of Stalkers and Zealots. One thing that Terran could really do right now is get Ghosts. If they know how to use Ghosts properly and EMP all the Protoss army, this army, once the Colossus is dead, yeah, the army just melts once EMP hits. We do have we have Storm actually on the way, and that's going to make things a hell of a lot harder for Terran. But like I said, if Terran can keep their Liberator production going, and they could siege up beforehand, and just keep Protoss having to engage, like forcing Protoss to engage into the Liberator siege radius, Terran could do pretty well at taking on Protoss, regardless of what their army composition is. We do have a lot of Colossus and Zealots, though. And Terran's army, despite how big it looks, it's actually not too scary once you have a decent Colossus count. Eurobadger is going to have himself 3 Colossus here momentarily, but if Terran pushes right now before the 2 extra Colossus come out, this could be huge for Terran. I don't know, they're definitely not aware of what they're up against because they haven't checked out the army for a while. Oh, but we have 2 Colossus actually over here, so we're actually going to have a total of 5 Colossus. I was wondering where the extra 2 Colossus went. They're actually at the natural, and they're going to get picked off very easily. Unfortunately for Eurobadger, that was a very painful loss there, losing 2 Colossus for free, and Terran is stimming to win. These Widowmines are in a really good spot for Eurobadger because the Zealots, they pushed forward and suicided into the Terran army and killed a lot of Terran Marines for free, and now Eurobadger is going to push forward. He's in a nice choke. He does have 3 Colossus and Storm now. Eurobadger's army composition is actually really strong now. He's got a lot of AoE, and dongotti has no AoE. He's just got a lot of he's lost all of his AoE with the Widowmine's Liberators, and now Eurobadger is pushing forward with the full might of the Protoss army, and it's just too strong. There's a lot of AoE for him, and this Terran army is melting away. Liberators do come on in, but they're not really going to get a decent trade at all. They do maybe get one stalker, and actually there's a lone DT mixed in the army. So the DT really wanted to be a zealot when it grew up, and a lot of units have been killed for Eurobadger. But Eurobadger's still in the deficit of resources lost, but it doesn't matter. This just goes to show, though, that it doesn't matter how many resources you've lost. If you're about to win the game, that's all that matters. And Eurobadger has a tremendous lead over the Terran. Terran doesn't really have a whole lot left to fight this army, and this Protoss army is just way too scary for dongotti. He's still just sitting on Marine Marauder and like a few Liberators. Unfortunately, his Liberator count has not been able to grow. He keeps losing them. He actually has a random medevac in the middle of the map with a single Marine. And Eurobadger warping in 10 more Zealots to regroup with the army. And once these Zealots get here, I would not be surprised. Actually, no. Eurobadger's going to go ahead and push right now, lunging the Zealots forward, hoping for Widowmines to connect with the Terran army. And unfortunately, does lose the Liberator, but there's nothing to worry about. There's no Ghost here for dongotti, and Storms are making huge connections on top of the bio. Terran taking terrible damage, and I think that might be all she wrote. These Zealots are pushing forward. These Zealots are gonna die. Unfortunately, they didn't make any decent connections with the bio this time around, but it doesn't matter because Eurobadger is still pushing forward and gonna hit really. Well, yeah, dongotti's just essentially dead. He doesn't really have anything to defend this army. Eurobadger still has Storms if he decides to use them. Colossus are cleaning up everything though, and 2 more Widowmines are actually going down, but Eurobadger's in range of the Widowmines and does take that hit face first. And actually, this is looking a little bit scarier. Looking a lot closer than it should be. Eurobadger, though, not caring. He's going to push this army forward. He's not going to budge. No micro required, and no GG by dongotti, but Eurobadger takes the game. GG, well played, Eurobadger. If you guys enjoyed this replay cast and would like me to cast your replays, you can submit your replays at seoulreplays@gmail.com. That is SEOUL replays@gmail.com. If you like this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed that video just now. If you wouldn't mind clicking that like, subscribe, and the bell notification down below, really appreciate it. Also, be sure to follow me on my Twitter and Twitch